you, Yelena. That was so beautiful. Welcome to the Unitarian Church of Los Alamos. I am Kelly Dolejsi, today's worship associate. Whoever you are, whomever you love, whatever your image of the holy, you are welcome here. If this is your first time with us, we'd love to get to know you. Please sign our guest sign-in book in the foyer. For kids, we have our activity table up front. Kids can also stay seated with grown-ups. Please remember to use whisper voices when talking. That goes for you too, grown-ups. If you would like to know more about our programs for youth and kids, please speak to Elizabeth Portillos, our Lifespan Spiritual Enrichment staff. After the time for all ages, kids can go out to their World Blessings class with Elizabeth. We also have a nursery down the hall for younger kiddos, and Sarah Hamoud, our nursery coordinator, can check in with your younger kiddos. Everyone is encouraged to come up to our Candles of Community area. We have one in the back as well, before or during prayer meditation time, to light a candle and or write your joy or sorrow in our book to be read aloud. If you are in need of pastoral care or support, or a chat over coffee, or even financial assistance, please contact our settled minister, Reverend Tina DeYoe.
Cool. Hello, good morning. And happy Mother's Day to all our mothers here with us today. Mother Goddess Day, we can call y'all goddesses too. So this is our call to worship time as we gather this morning to worship together. We come together as a community every Sunday to pause and to worship together. Worship creates connections within, among, and beyond us, calling us to live with wisdom and compassion, calling us to be our better selves. So today in our service, we are celebrating mothers and peacemaking. We are sowing the seeds of peace today, and next week, in our flower communion service, we will be sharing the blossoms of peace with each other. We are also celebrating Asian American and Pacific Islander Heritage Month for this month of May. Woo! Yay. And we lift up the legacy of all those Asian American and Pacific Islanders who have contributed so much to our church community, our Los Alamos community, and our country throughout the years. So yay for that celebration as well. And now we will light our chalice flame, the symbol of our Unitarian Universalist faith, and Amelia is going to come up and light our chalice flame, and Kelly has our chalice lighting words.
Children of the earth and sky, we are nurtured, sustained, given warmth and light from above and below. Supported by Earth's strong, firm crust, we build our homes, till the fields, plant our gardens and orchards. When we turn from self and seek to be aware, we will find holy light in human faces, in blossoms, birdsong, and sky. Then Earth is truly our home, and we are one with all Earth's creatures, parents of Earth's children yet to be. Let us rise in body and or spirit for our opening hymn, number 134, The World is One World. Our world is one world.
Thank you, Yelena. Happy Mother's Day again. Happy Mother's Day, woo! Woo, woo. So in 1870, soon after the Civil War, a Unitarian named Julia Ward Howe wrote a Mother's Day proclamation that I absolutely love. Julia was a suffragist, a mother, an abolitionist, a poet, a lecturer, and a reformer, and she wrote a proclamation that rings true today as much as it did in 1870. So it is worth repeating every year, so let us hear this Mother's Day proclamation again today.
Arise, all women who have hearts. Whether your baptism be that of water or of tears, say firmly, we will not have great questions decided by irrelevant agencies. Our husbands shall not come to us reeking with carnage for caresses and applause. Our sons shall not be taken from us to unlearn all that we have been able to teach them of charity, mercy, and patience. We women of one country will be too tender of those of another country to allow our sons to be trained to injure theirs. From the bosom of the devastated earth, a voice goes up with our own. It says, disarm, disarm. The sword is not the balance of justice. Blood does not wipe out dishonor, nor violence indicate possession. As men have often forsaken the plow and the anvil at the summons of war, let women now leave all that may be left of home for a great and earnest day of council. Let them meet first as women to bewail and commemorate the dead. Let them then solemnly take counsel with each other as to the means whereby the great human family can live in peace, each learning after his own time the sacred impress, not of Caesar, but of God. In the name of womanhood and of humanity, I earnestly ask that a general congress of women without limit of nationality may be appointed and held at some place deemed most convenient and at the earliest period consistent with its objects, to promote the alliance of the different nationalities, the amicable settlement of international questions, the great and general interests of peace.
We have gathered today, on this Mother's Day, to celebrate mothers and all forms of nurturing. Peace grows where compassion is nurtured. We can all do the work of planting and sowing peace through nurturing compassion in a hurting world. So today, we celebrate all the mothers, grandmothers, and great-grandmothers here with us today, and we also honor the sacred work of mothering and nurturing wherever it is found, and those who protect, those who advocate, who comfort, who teach justice, who create belonging, those who refuse to give up on humanity. Not everyone has had a positive experience with mothering or parenting. Children haven't always been able to receive what a parent is giving them. We know that trauma and abuse is cyclical, and we know that accessibility to mental health resources is beyond scarce. Today, we celebrate those who have managed to nurture despite these challenges. We also know some folks who have been nurturers have dealt with the grief of losing those who they have nurtured to death or other circumstances. Being a nurturer is not easy work. Being a nurturer in this world is indeed courageous work. So a big thanks to all of our nurturers out there today, all of you nurturers. Woo! Peace does indeed grow where compassion is nurtured. The roots of peacemaking while celebrating Mother's Day are deep. Julia Ward Howe was indeed opposed to the harsh realities of war that her sons and her husband had been exposed to. And she was calling on humanity to disarm. Julia Ward Howe wasn't the only mother and nurturer of peace in a time of war. Many others had shared this sentiment. Anne Jarvis also nurtured peace during the Civil War in rural Appalachia. She sowed peace through her grassroots organizing work, starting with health initiatives and then peacemaking. Anne Jarvis was the wife of a Methodist country preacher. They lived in what was known then as Virginia, and Anne became concerned about the health and sanitary conditions in the little Appalachian towns. Anne organized Mother's Day work clubs, which raised money for medicine, hired women to work for families in which mothers suffered from tuberculosis, and provided inspection of bottled milk and food to see how safe they were for consumption. When the Civil War ended, Anne was living in the small town of Grafton in what had become the state of West Virginia. During the war, West Virginians seceded from Virginia and joined the Union. Since that part of the country had changed sides during the Civil War, there were soldiers returning who had fought on opposite sides in the war. And this generated a fair amount of conflict and tension with their communities. Anne Jarvis decided to do something about it. And in the summer of 1865, 1 year after the war ended, she organized in Grafton a Mother's Friendship Day. The objective was to bring together the soldiers who had fought on opposite sides in the Civil War in the hope that some reconciliation could be found. Nerves were high, and folks in the town thought that violence might erupt, but the event was a success, and Mother's Friendship Day became an annual event that in that part of West Virginia for several years. Just like Julia Ward Howe, Anne Jarvis used the name Mother's Day as a way of promoting peace and reconciliation for veterans returning from the Civil War. After Anne's passing, her daughter Anna was the one who petitioned to Congress to get Mother's Day made into an official holiday. President Woodrow Wilson signed a congressional proclamation making the second Sunday of May every year Mother's Day. The first Mother's Day was celebrated on May 12, 1907. Frances Ellen Watkins Harper, a Black Unitarian, a poet, a writer, an abolitionist, a suffragist, was also calling for peace at the same time as Julia Ward Howe and Anne Jarvis. She wrote the following words during a time when people were reeling from war. Let us hear these words. Welcome, peace, thou blessed evangel. Welcome to this war-cursed land. O'er the weary waiting millions, let thy banner be unfurled. On the burning brow of anger, lay thy gentle, soothing hand. Say to carnage and destruction, ye shall cease to blight the land. Plead in tones of love and mercy, mid the battle's crash and roar, till the nations new created learn the art of war no more. Peace grows where compassion is nurtured. These three women, through their examples, four women, I guess, yeah, the two, Anna, and Julia, yeah, four women, have nurtured compassion through their words and actions. These are some of the seeds of peacemaking that were planted to root today's Mother's Day celebration more than a century later. Four women from different backgrounds, socioeconomic classes, and races, all calling for peace. Peace will indeed grow where it is nurtured. Can you recall where you first encountered the seeds of peacemaking in your life? Think about that. Fortunately, my mom and dad both helped in planting and nurturing the seeds of peacemaking and compassion in my life. I remember when my brother and I were in conflict with each other, and my mom would make us touch noses. We really hated it at the time, but you know, it was a form of de-escalation and peacemaking. What if, just what if, we used the touching noses approach for leaders at war? It would be kind of silly and ridiculous, but maybe, just maybe, we could connect with one another through that humor, silliness, and ridiculousness. Maybe? So my mom is also a sower of peace. She likes to spread the message of peace wherever she goes, and I haven't told y'all yet, but she has even inspired the Sowing of the message of peace here at our church. You know, the peace pole that we have planted in our playground? Well, my mom helped inspire this idea for our community. It was her influence that led me to bring this idea here. So thanks, Ma. This peace pole was planted when we moved into our new building in 2016. Kids painted words of peace in different languages, and we then planted the peace pole together. Today, our church kids are painting new signs of peace in different languages to put up on our peace pole. The sun faded the old signs of peace, so we are planting more peace with this generation of youth. We're resurrecting peace. Woo! After the service, so feel free to go out to our peace pole as we plant more peace together in this community. I've learned peace from both my mom and my dad. My dad, who was a Presbyterian minister, chose peace even toward the end of his life. When he was diagnosed with terminal cancer, a small group of church leaders chose to force him into retirement without consulting him or honoring his ideas about how he would like to end his ministry career. When this happened, my dad chose to leave gracefully when he had every right to call out the unchristian behavior. He could have torn his church in two on his way out the door by fighting these grumpy few, but instead, he chose peace. He did the hard work of peacemaking for the good of his congregation. Where have you encountered peacemaking in your life? Luckily, there is good news. Even if you haven't yet encountered peacemaking in your life, we all can do the work of planting and sowing seeds of peace together through learning how to nurture compassion in a hurting world. A modern day example of planting seeds of peace has been the Walk for Peace across part of our country that just finished a couple months or so ago. A group of Buddhist monks completed a 15-week, 2,300-mile walk for peace from Texas to Washington, D.C. They ended on February 10th, 2026, to promote healing and inner peace. The pilgrimage, which started in Fort Worth, Texas on October 26, 2025, involved daily walking. Bhikkhu Panyakara, a Vietnamese Buddhist monk and one of the leaders of the Walk for Peace, shared this simple yet profound practice. He begins each day by affirming, "Today is going to be my peaceful day." He says, write it down, and then read it out loud. Today is going to be my peaceful day. Say it with me right now. Today is going to be my peaceful day. Bhikkhu says, when we read it out loud, we tell the universe that today is going to be my peaceful day. And no one can mess it up but me. Nobody can ruin our day. In the beginning, we might fail, but don't give up. Keep trying. You will feel lighter and will have less suffering. When we set this intention in the morning, we plant a seed of peace in our hearts. Throughout the day, no matter what challenges arise, we can return to this gentle reminder: choosing peace, choosing mindfulness, choosing to respond with calm rather than react with turbulence. Bhikkhu also has a practice of living mindfully for 5 seconds. In the first second, you focus your attention on loving kindness. In the second, you choose compassion. We don't know what others are carrying, so we choose compassion. In the third second, we choose love. And this love must start with loving ourselves. In the fourth second, we focus on harmony. Harmony does not mean sameness, it means respect. Peace comes from the ability to live together. And in the fifth second, we focus on hope. Hope that violence is not the final answer and that the world can soften. Bhikkhu says that the walk for peace was not a protest, but was a reminder that hope still exists when people are willing to care. Hope is the final light that must never go out. So nurturing life and compassion in a hurting world is indeed sacred work, and we all can do it. This is why I love the Ralph Waldo Emerson quote, where he defines success. Some of you may know. I'll quote it now. To laugh often and much, to win the respect of intelligent people and the affection of children, to earn the appreciation of honest critics and endure the betrayal of false friends, to appreciate beauty, to find the best in others, to leave the world a bit better, whether by a healthy child, a garden patch, or a redeemed social condition, to know even one life has breathed easier because you have lived. This is to have succeeded. Planting and sowing peace through nurturing compassion in a hurting world is to succeed. Knowing one life has breathed easier because you lived is to succeed. Today, we are honoring mothers and nurturers by sowing the seeds of peace and planting peace together in our playground for future generations with our peace pole. And next week, we will be sharing the blossoming of peace in our flower communion service. We will also have a special child dedication, high school senior recognition, and volunteer recognition Sunday, all together, the blossoming of peace and community. All the fruits and blossoms of our labor will be shared together. In our service on paying attention to healing in March, we mentioned Richard Rohr's quote, "Pain that isn't transformed is transmitted." In this hurting world, to be a healer and transform our own pain and the pain of others is also walking the path of peacemaking. Lifting up mothers, nurturers, and all forms of nurturing is how we all heal. So we have gathered together on this Mother's Day to celebrate mothers and all forms of nurturing. So let us remember that peace grows where compassion is nurtured. And let us also remember we can all do the work of planting and sowing peace through nurturing compassion in a hurting world. These acts of peacemaking are rooted in moral courage and a commitment to life. Blessed are the peacemakers, and may all our swords forever be turned into plowshares. Happy Mother's Day. Hug your mom, hug a nurturer, and may we all carrying nurturing in our hearts today, every day. Amen, and may it be so.